Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool Podcast. My name is Rex45, and this is the Vroom Vroom Wednesday night. We have a special guest in the building, Eli Block. What's going on, Eli? Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk some motorcycles.
I know, man. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. This it can be a little cutthroat at times. We have some diehard Mark Marquez fan and also some not so much Mark Marquez fans. So we'll see where you land. TJ, welcome to the show, man. What's good, man?
Man, just waiting for the riding season, like I've always been saying, ready to talk motorcycles. Unfortunately, it's still cold up in New England, for me at least. So just waiting for the weather to break so I can just be out on Tuesday.
Yeah, I feel you. I was there yesterday, from Sunday to yesterday, and I it's like I came down here thinking I wouldn't need my jacket, but I seem like I use up my jacket a lot more than I need to. Jordan, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Loving life, man. You know how it is. Love talking motorcycles. That's my life. That's my adrenaline. As you see, I'm not just a podcast. I'm not just a radio host. I'm a racer, motorcycle enthusiast, and I love talking not Mark Marquez.
That's right. He got all the trophies. Yeah, let's jump right into it and talk about MotoGP. Marquez. We'll start off with Eli because since you're the guest for tonight. What were your thoughts on the weekend after Marquez crashed out of the race and stuff like that? What do you think?
Man, it's hard to not respect at least Marquez. You can always. That's the big thing that I've learned in racing. Whether you like someone or not, you can like someone, you can be a diehard fan, you can hate them, but it's respecting the talent. Mark has been, since he got on this Ducati, has been dominant, especially this year. Made one mistake at Coda, which seems like it's been I don't know, it's a common theme now. He was Mr. America for however many years, and now it's been every time he comes back, he decides to, no matter what piece of shit he's on, he'll be in the lead and find a way to crash with a 30-second lead. So, yeah, I personally do like Marquez, and I'm really happy seeing actually Alex be there with his brother and taking shots at him now and at least showing him a wheel. And yeah, awesome weekend. It was cool to see Martine back too. I really do like Martine, and overall, it was a really cool weekend. I really like that. Like just Qatar. It's usually the first round. You get those first round jitters, and it's usually the first round under the lights. Super sick to watch, and a little different feeling having it be the fourth round this year.
Yeah, it is kind
Fourth.
of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Watching it now, I have to say, TJ, what are your thoughts before we dive further into the races themselves? Well, what are your thoughts about what Marquez was able to do this weekend?
I mean, he's just riding like Mark Marquez, like Eli was saying, he can ride on any type of bike. As you see, the Honda wasn't too well for him. He gives it his all, like more than 100%. So, you know, he's just not putting on a clinic, but he's showing that he still got it, and he's not letting anything slide. He did make that one mistake in Coda, and it's like he had actually admitted to it, like what he did wrong. Um, but I think this weekend was pretty cool. The sprint race, the GP race was actually pretty cool. Like we were saying, well, I said last week I thought another manufacturer was going to be on a podium, which did happen. Fortunately, we had a couple penalties, but Mark Marquez is just phenomenal as of right now this season. It's definitely someone to look up to. So.
All right. So, Jordan, I'm not going to ask you a Marquez question. I'm going to ask, did Big Bagnaya do enough for you to show that, like, everything is good, everything is smooth. It's not a foregone conclusion that Marquez is gonna run away with, because I'm telling you, after every round, Smitty calls me and says, "Am I gonna give it up to Marquez now?" And I'm like, "No, man. If there's still points, if there's still a chance for someone else to win a championship, I'm not gonna be like he's running away with it." What did you see from Bagnaia outside of his crash in Q2? Because that was bad. I think if he puts
Yeah, that
system
was
better.
a bad crash in Q2, but I mean he recovered pretty fast, and actually with the crash, it wasn't. I say it wasn't that bad, but it could have been a lot worse. I think he did a good race, even with the sprint race. He did a really good race. He managed himself, and that's what Bagnaia does. I mean, he gets into a good rhythm. He manages the race, and he may not have been able to put a 10th here and there, but he was able to keep Mark and Morbidelli. They kind of went back and forth for a little bit, and keep him in sight. That was the whole thing. If I remember right, turn 8 and 9, for whatever reason, was getting a lot of people. I don't know if it was off track or something like that, but it was getting a lot of people kind of off a little bit over there. And the last corner coming out of there, going down the front straight, for whatever reason, a lot of people making mistakes over there. If I remember, that's turn 12. And for whatever reason, I don't know what it was. I'm gonna say it again and again and again. I hate the new tire pressure rule. It's really killing the I would say the competitiveness of it. I mean, dude, if they want to go a half pound down, a half pound up, whatever, let them get their grind on. That's what racing is supposed to do. You're testing the limits of the tires, of the suspension, of the electronics. That's what MotoGP is here for. We're supposed to be testing the ultimate limits of there. And you're playing around with this tire pressure. Oh, you only can have this much, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to go back to what Marquez did the last freaking round and be like, oh, I'm going to let Alex go ahead so I can conserve my tire pressure and then dart off to the win. Come on, let's keep it real.
Okay. Since you're on the tire pressure thing, I was going to say that for a little bit later, but I agree with you on the rules. I think that was a bit far fetched. Eli, you're racing Motor America. There's rules there as well. We club race. There's rules there as well. Is this 16 seconds overblown for tire pressure, or does tire pressure make give you that much of a difference if you're allowed to dance underneath it or above it? What the rules say?
Depends on. I think it depends on what the number is. Thing is about me is I get that MotoGP hype at the start of the year. I watch as much as possible. Then once our racing starts, I try tuning in, but a lot of the behind the scenes stuff I miss. I know they did have a tire pressure rule. I forgot what the pressure was, but it reminds me a lot about car racing. If you have a lot of car racing has fixed setup where everyone has to use the same setup, so now it comes to the rider, where this is a little different. There's different bikes, there's different manufacturers, there's a whole bunch of different things that are being developed. But if we're going to keep on developing these bikes, then why the fuck are we running the same pressure? It's just not. And it does make a huge difference. You can have a variety of different pressures at different tracks. I mean, I varied 10 pounds on the 400 from one track to another track throughout the whole entire year. So it does make that big difference. And it's just interesting that out of all things they want to keep the same, it's that.
Right. And I'll say this, and you look at Alex Marquez, who had two riders, and one got a long lap penalty. And to me, that seemed to be worse because one, there's damage on the bike, so that's costing money for the Gin Antonio. Two, he could have fought for a podium when he got taken out. So what are your thoughts on just the comparison with those two infringements?
So it's hard. Racing is racing, but when we throw in those penalties, it's hard. They feel like they're pretty strict about penalties at MotoGP. I guess just because of the severity of the situation. You're at the highest level in the world, and there's so much speed and so much risk of injury. It's hard, but the penalties are. I feel like penalties are getting a little bit more strict and ruining some of the races. I actually missed the start of the race this weekend. So I came in around like lap 4 and I saw Marquez all the way at the bottom. I heard that I think him and Mark collided in turn 1.
At first, yep, yes.
For turn 1.
So it's just like, that stuff happens. And yeah, when you're going for the same piece of pavement, that stuff's going to happen. And now it's like, if that stuff happens in Moto America, you guys bumping each other, it's fine. Your bikes are still going to run the same. There's no problem. Now, because all this aero and all the stuff that is on the bikes, there goes my wing. There goes 10 miles per hour down the straightaway. I can't even turn left. Like it's hard. I really am excited for 27 when they do go back to the 800s and they get rid of aero. They get rid of the ride height device. It comes back to more of like the stoner age. And I think those were some of the gnarliest riders that were ever produced.
Okay. All right. TJ, what are your thoughts on the penalties for Maverick and for Alex?
I mean, it's just weird because, like it's not clear, like how are we supposed to know his tire pressure? Like he's going through the situation and then find out at the end, he let him go on the podium and all the celebrations. Like, where was the alert why this was going on? Or like, even for us as fans, like we don't even know this is going on. I wish they had something that would show like a tire pressure because it's a rule of who's above and under or was close to. But I really think it's extreme for the amount of seconds that they apply to Maverick. I mean, like a long lap penalty would have been worth it, or a couple seconds off. But to find out like at the end, I mean, I just don't know how to calculate it like that. But I thought it was disappointing. I mean, Maverick said he's going to take it as a win. So, I mean, he's won at that track before, and I just don't understand. Like, I mean, the rule's a rule, but I think it's just a little extreme.
Yeah, I thought so too. And where Marquez was able to run off and cause chaos at Coda and didn't get anything based on the rules or lack there of rules if somebody does that, right? So I assume they'll fix it for next time and stuff. It's almost like if it's not in the book, then you can get away with it, and there's no kind of free thinking in the moment to make a decision when a rider does something, even though it's not in the rule book. Maybe it shouldn't be as bad. There should be like an override button, to just say, okay, yes, we know it's 16 seconds, but in this case, maybe it shouldn't be. Because I mean, even 3 seconds it would have put him off the podium. So you know what I mean. But overall championship, not to say he's fighting for one right now. He's still messing with his money.
I mean, it's a big deal too. Like,
he's messing with a lot.
KTM hasn't been on the podium.
I'll say one at a time. Let's start with TJ. Go ahead, and then we'll go to Jordan. I missed that.
Sorry. No, I was just saying that it's definitely meant a lot. Like I've seen this year, we legit had all Ducatis on the podium. So for another manufacturer to get up there, I mean, why it's like, what did he do wrong? Let's check him at the end. Or his tire pressure is too high. Like, no, I think that's wrong. So.
It's like Saquon Barkley there. You can't jump too high. If you just jump high enough, they won't test you. But if you jump too high, I was gonna use I forget the guy's name the runner out of oh my God, Ben Johnson, when he raced Carl Lewis back in the day and shot out the gate like a bat out of hell. It was like, there's no way a human is moving that fast. So he got tested. So it may be the same thing. Maverick should have probably finished in 5th or 6th, and he would have been fine.
What I was going to say was like, I think the crime doesn't fit the punishment. It's like, yeah, if he would have been okay, like I said, 5th, 6th, he would have been perfectly fine. Nobody would have said nothing. But he was pushing and getting, and next thing you know, it's kind of like, and like TJ said, it's like, we didn't find out anything until after. And it was like, oh, well, yeah, sorry. That's a real embarrassment.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't like. I was like, that was a real embarrassment for you to be up on the podium, getting ready to do the ceremony, and next thing you know, you kind of pull back and be like, oh, by the way, you broke this rule, unwritten rule, whatever the case may be. And like I said, I know they have a lot of stats, a lot of information when they're putting up on the riders when the actual race is going on. Lean angle, gear, speed. Do we really need to have a tire pressure sensor display on there so then we know who's in first or who's in second, it's like, dude, it's like, let them race. Like, I want to see racing at his, like Eli said, at his purest, at his best. And right about now, I think we're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
Yeah, and I don't know if you were saying that they didn't have a sensor on his screen, because I think they do have one.
They do.
Race control has one. Race control has it, but we don't see it.
No,
So
correct.
to even know what's going on, if you're gonna get penalized or not, it's kind of like it's a guess until we find out later on after the race.
Yeah.
The riders also can see it as well.
Correct. They can see it on the dash.
Yeah.
And I think they get some information back from the pit crew also. They can put something on the board.
Right. Correct. So that's
how many times are allowed to? They can send messages on your. They do like box calls
on the display.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times they can do it, but I know they can do it on the display.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's pretty clever. What are your thoughts on Morbidelli and the VR46 Academy? I feel like Morbidelli has a good shot for the championship, and I know some people have written him off for his last few years of how he's been riding, but it sounds like, I think to me, he was just more recovering and he just couldn't avoid injuries, especially at the beginning of last season. Are you a huge Morbidelli fan, Eli?
I have no problem with him.
Eli's like, I'm a racer. I'm not a fan of anyone.
I will say, when you're forced to ride a Yamaha for so long, you're gonna be doing shitty. So, that's a different conversation about how well Quadraro did last weekend. But yeah, I think it's cool to see the VR46 team. They've had strong performances, but now they're getting their legs. They're having more consistency up front, especially with Morbidelli. It's been a quick adaptation to the bike. It's only been, he took 1 year off.
He had last year on the bike, and he's on the bike again this year.
Yep. So he's had 1 year, and now, it's cool to see. And then him and Digi is a rough weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised he didn't go down. After seeing the clip of him hitting Martine, I'm blown away that he wasn't laying on top of Martine.
Right.
So overall, both of them have been putting in consistently strong top 10, top 5 at most times for Morbidelli. But it's really nice to see another satellite team, even though you're on the same bike as every other person, up in the front.
I was gonna say, is it? I keep explaining it as a satellite team, but it's only satellite in name at this point, right?
Well, they're on the 24, I think.
Yeah, but I think they're all kind of on a hybrid of the 24. Even the factory bikes, they're not on the full 25.
Yeah, I know. What was it? Bagnaia went back to a 24 chassis.
Yeah,
like a 23, 24.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
he's gonna find something to complain about with that bike too.
So he may. So TJ and Jordan, what are your thoughts on VR46 Academy and what they're doing, and then we'll jump over to Yamaha.
I mean, go ahead.
I like VR46 as well. But I know for sure you, Rexy, you love some Morbidelli. He's definitely having a great season. You can see that they're improving every round. They definitely improve bit by bit, especially Morbidelli. Now, I think it's just more of management. As you see in the race, he kind of took off on everybody. It didn't really manage the race well enough, but you can see that he has it. Like now he can run up front. Digi obviously didn't have the greatest weekend, but in the sprint he did well. But I think they're doing good this year for the first 4 rounds for sure.
I
Just looking
agree.
at the points and everything, and looking at the standings, I mean, Morbidelli has been, besides like I said, besides his uh, semi-accident proneness, he's been running pretty consistently, but he's had a learning curve to where whether it be tires, suspension, whatever. Like I said, running on Yamaha for ages and ages, yeah, that kind of put you at a back burner or kind of put you on a back pedal. So when you
Hmm.
get on some, sorry, should I say, new equipment? I don't want to say better equipment, but he gets on new equipment, then it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve that you have to manage and have to learn just with the bike and maneuverability. So I mean, besides the accidents, like I said, he's been doing really good. Digi, I think he'll get there, but he's not really there just yet. He has kind of sparks a little bit here and there, but his consistency isn't quite there just yet. But I mean, we're talking about the fastest riders in the world, so I mean, they could be a tenth off, and next thing you know, they're down in 15th on his grid. But sometimes depending on the track too, when
Right.
you're a second or two off, and you're all the way in the back in the bleachers where everyone else is hitting down the front straight. So I like VR46. I like what they're doing with their team, and I like the riders that Valentino was picking. Not to say he's only looking at Italianos. He's got some eyes on other people also. Obviously, some Spanish guys also. But I mean, if you ain't cutting the mustard, you're
Right.
done.
No doubt there. Eli, can anyone catch Mark Marquez? I said this, I think last week or maybe the week before, that after Coda, I feel like Marquez has not, I would say hit his ceiling, but all the other guys are starting to figure it out and they're getting quicker. And even just looking at Marquez finishing 4.5 seconds in front of Pecco, where in the beginning, the first few rounds, it was a little bit more than that. Can anyone catch him, or it's just depending on the track? It'll be an ebb and flow because you just really need a tenth of a second to win, right?
Exactly. I really do think that he's not going 100%. Especially at Qatar with the track temps and trying to manage your tire temperature. There ain't no way none of these guys are riding at 100%. Because if you do, then you're going to be building heat, and especially if it's hard because in the middle of the pack you have fucking whatever, you have all this drag and no airflow and more heat, yada yada. But I do think someone will be with Mark. I don't think anyone's going to beat him in the championship. I think Marquez it will be the champion, but I have a hot take that I think there'll probably be 3 or 4 more different race winners this year, and I think Furman Aldeguer might be one of them.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
That's my hot take of the year because that kid is the late race warrior. That kid's been coming out of nowhere on the last 5 to 7 laps, especially in the sprint. He
Right.
he closed down a 5 second gap in 3.5 laps.
Right. Yeah. He's acting like he's Bastianini. I mean, Bastianini's very good at that as well. Let me hear the take from these from Troy and from TJ and Jordan on. Can anyone catch Mark Marquez? And who you saying?
Uh, I mean, it's the only one that's going to catch him as we see is Alex Morbidelli, pretty much. But yeah, if Mark is only going to defeat himself, pretty much. Like Eli said, he hasn't gone 100%. Yeah, and I believe that. I think it was the first race of the year when he had the tire pressure issue when he let his brother by. He just followed them, and in like the last 3, 4 laps, he just hit turbo, and and you just see it like he has another level. You don't want to mess with this guy. And you see it during Qatar, the GP race. He actually managed that race really well. I mean, he did hit his brother, or his brother hit him. He fell back a few positions, but he actually had to work a little bit. But he managed his tires really well, and his pace, his energy, and he still came out on top. So I don't think anyone's gonna catch this guy. So he don't ruin it himself.
You talking like he's the
I mean,
Celtics.
I'm not a Mark Marquez fan like that. But, I don't run with 93 or Hondas like some people I know. But he's been impressive this year. And, Pecco got to do something if he wants to try to contend with this championship. He's gonna let it slip away.
That's right. Well, it's a long season. Can't be talking
It's a
about
long season.
slipping in sweeps or anything like that. Too soon.
For
What's up, Jordan?
I kind of agree with him. Bagnaia still has some work to do. He's got to stay consistent. He's got to be, I don't know, he's got to, throw a monkey wrench on his other side of his competitor on his garage or something like that. Stay close to him. But I can see Aguilar getting on the podium. We already know Alex is already good to be on the podium. Quadraro, if he gets his stuff together, he could get on the podium. Whether he's going to get the championship, I don't think so, but it's a good possibility. Even Bezecchi, he could throw a wrench in the whole thing and stir things up again. He's good for that. I think that if enough people kind of put their heads together and really look at what Marquez is doing, they should know by now. He's got the rule book. He's reading it inside and out. He's on the toilet going through there. Oh, we can do this. We can do that. So, I mean, if they kind of just keep their eyes peeled and be like, okay, we see what he's doing, and then, they got a chance.
All right. Bobby Shakes, man, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you pulling the Michael Jordan under the weather and showing up and playing the game 5, game 4, where we at?
Unlike Michael Jordan, who was drunk and everybody said he had the flu, I'm actually going through toothache. I've had it for 2 weeks now. I thought it would go away. I finally went to the dentist. I got a haircut, and then now all my teeth got to be pulled out.
Okay, well, I hear when you cut your hair, your teeth feel better. So there you go. What's good, man?
You know what it is.
Besides the pain. I mean, you saw the results. I mean, I'm sure you must have something to say.
VR Academy is a joke. KTM should have got penalized for the tire pressure.
Oh, they should have. Okay, all right.
And I'm staying true to what I said. This week was an anomaly, right? It was Alex tore the wing off his motorcycle, so that's why he finished back. Morbidelli has no clue what's going on. It should have been Ducati 1, 2, 3, 4. But
what do you mean? Morbidelli stayed on a bike. He's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but it should have been Ducati 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, but Morbidelli has 2 third place. He can't be in 3rd and 4th.
Gave it up. He gave it up. Bagnaia, I don't know what was going on. So I think all those KTM fanboys, you guys just need to calm down, and we'll give you this fake podium run. This is just a fake podium for KTM. Next week is back to the regularly scheduled program. Ducati 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I see what you're saying. Well, listen, I would have thought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was not realistic, but after how Aldeguer has been riding lately, I do believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is realistic because he was the odd man out the first few rounds.
Right.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I give you that. I ain't gonna be no 5, 6. I guarantee you that. I ain't gonna be no 5, 6. Zarco proved that already. Zarco's kind of like, I want a factory ride. He talked about it for 2 weeks, and he's putting in the work in. It ain't happening. It ain't 1, 2, 1.
Well, I mean, it's racing, so it ain't happening. But if Alex, I will say this about Alex, and I say it kind of jokingly, but when he's separated from Mark, he doesn't ride as well.
There you go.
The wing on the Ducati was ripped off. He made a
because his brother.
Yeah, I mean, he made a little mistake. So the G-forces, I mean, it was like riding a wild bull. I mean, so his bike, you got to give the man credit for finishing 7th with a bike not put together.
I'll say this, right? And the Marquez brother doesn't ride when they ride together, they don't ride aggressive. When they ride around other riders, they ride more aggressive. And that's that. And I've noticed that this season so far. And we saw that with Alex. When Alex could have pushed Mark or tried to pass Mark in the first 3 rounds if he wanted to at times, and didn't take the chance. He just rode behind him and played it safe. Where he ran into 2 riders in the same race.
Hint, hint.
What are you hinting at, Jordan?
I mean, Rex is kind of just put it in a nice little, quick little bow that whenever Alex is around Mark, he's like, go ahead, big brother, and take the championship or do this, do that, and I will follow the lead. But when he's by himself, he does ride a little bit aggressive. He'll cut some noses off. He'll break a little bit more. And as you see him losing the front a little bit, it's kind of like, dude, what are you doing? And when he comes to his big brother, he'll let him run.
Okay.
I'll follow you.
Eli, I don't believe you have a brother in a championship you've raced in, but what are your thoughts? Do you ride different around your friends versus the people you don't know on the track?
Nah, if you're on 2 wheels, I'll take you on anytime I want. Pretty simple. And people found that out by accident. There was actually one person that I did ride nice around. That was Ella.
Okay.
Because she's like a little sister, so I guess that is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But I did punch her out of the way for like 2 rounds this year after I got over the Pat part. But
yeah,
no, I think it definitely depends on how you are. I mean, I'm money driven. If there's a person in my way and there's money on the line, you ain't gonna be in my way.
There you have it. TJ, you
Win
want to
it or
add?
bin it.
I like
to
Eli.
that?
I also hate him.
No, I agree to that. Like, if it's like the little duckling, if they separate, it's like all hell breaks loose. Alex definitely needs his brother to stay in contention for the end. I mean, like I said, I didn't expect even Alex to ride this good this year compared to last year. I mean, obviously, riders improved, but he's doing a hell of a job. But as you see, like you said, if he gets that little separation, which we haven't seen much this year, he's a whole different rider. And his brother's still Mark,
Well, he had a little
but
bit of separation anxiety.
yeah, he's like, oh, what do I do? What do I do?
What do I do? It's like the mama duck walking the little ducklings across the street.
Yeah.
It's like Mark and Alex, the little ducklings.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who got left behind. Mark's like, I can't come back with you, man. You better find your way.
It's gonna be a long season, and we'll see. But it does. The last Coda and this past round does look a little suspect for Alex. When it's not working out right. Where they don't get a great start. And so I think it would be nice to clean that up a little bit going forward. But who am I? I can't pick a phone up and call anyone. Let's talk about what Honda's doing and what Yamaha's doing. They seem to be in the mix. They seem to be, they might be, the less of the ingredients in the cake, but they definitely are in the cake right now. What are your thoughts? I'll start with Eli.
God, Honda's making that bike uglier every year, but the bike's a little faster, I guess. So that front end looks squashed. That thing is cooked. It's like you got a frying pan to the face of it and just went, ha. But I guess it works. But I mean, it's impressive what Zarco's been doing. Mir, take it or leave it. He's going to be on the ground or he's going to finish the race more times on the ground than finish.
Right.
I mean, I don't think when's the last time he finished a race? He didn't finish this weekend. He didn't. I think they stated it this weekend. Like the last time he finished a race on 2 wheels was like last year.
Yeah.
Like halfway through the year.
I think he did all right in one of the sprint races. I'd have to check either in Coda or one of the rounds. I think he did all right this year. Finishing the race when I say did all right. But I think it's only like one finish out of whatever. Which is unfortunate for that. But continue.
Yeah, but it's like Zarco's running the show right now. It's really cool to see that, quote unquote. I guess that is a satellite team with. I don't understand how they run it. I guess Castro is one side, and then the other side's,
Indonesia or Mitsu.
Yeah.
Indomitsu.
Yep. So, it's cool that, I guess another satellite team is in the running, and obviously Zarco has a point to prove. He wants to be back on that Ducati. He's missing it, and he knows that if he gets his on a Ducati, he can be out winning. So I was saying three or four more winners this year. I said Aldeguer will be one of them. I 100% will put money on Zarco being a winner, if not battling for the lead at Le Mans.
Okay. All right. Bobby Shakes, you want to jump in?
That's a hot take, Eli.
I know. I'm telling you, I'm throwing heat at it, and I'm going for it.
They don't have the bike. In week 2, they showed us that Honda doesn't have the bike in week 2.
But
They don't have the
Zarco's
bike.
got balls. Zarco's got something that half these other guys don't.
Yeah, but if everybody's riding on 1,000 and I'm riding on a moped, no matter how much balls I have, I'm not gonna pass anyone.
Fair enough. But I'm telling you, I'm gonna put money on it tonight after this. I'll put money on it, and then when I cash out my check with a lot more money that I put in after the Le Mans race, I'll be happy.
So I need hold on. Let me turn up my headphones because I don't see any other factory. No other factory should be on the podium. I think KTM, they have the power. The tire was overinflated. We all know that they cheated. So we're just gonna let it go.
That's
What are
strong
you
words.
saying? What are you saying, sir? Because we just want to get this on tape.
Okay, turn it up real quick. Turn it all the way up. Past max.
Okay. Yep.
Honda
Yes.
will be battling for the lead at the Le Mans Grand Prix in France.
Eli knows something. I'm saying
know.
Eli knows something.
Okay, you got a guy with confidence. Sure, the bike might be a pile of horse shit, but horse shit you can mold it into something. It's got some type of structure to it. It's got some fucking grain in there. So you just got to get a guy that got a little bit of confidence. He's been in the top 5, battling up there. Get him at his home race. Magic's gonna happen. Marquez has shown it. He's not perfect, and Alex, it's like the blind leading the blind. Once daddy's gone, it's little bro don't know where to go.
If I knew Eli was going to be on tonight, I wouldn't have came on.
I'm telling you, Ducati's got a great bike. I'm not gonna take anything away from Ducati. What they've made, it's a masterpiece.
Week 2 showed me that Zarco should have finished second in week 2. Was it week 2? They should have finished second.
Phillip Island?
I think.
No, Phillip Island. They didn't go there yet today.
I mean, there's so many tracks now.
They did
Thailand, Argentina, Coda.
Argentina.
I think it was Argentina. Jordan, you gotta proof check me. You're the stats guy on the show.
I got stats right here.
Yeah, I think Zarco was. I think that was Zarco's race.
He finished 6th in a race.
He was 6th.
And 4th in the sprint.
4th in the sprint.
He had the bike.
He has the bike. He's coming.
4th in the race.
They were going down the straight, and the Ducati just opened up on him. But if he had the bike, yes. If Honda had the bike, yes.
On the sprint, he didn't make it on the sprint. On the race, he got 4th.
No, he got 4th in the sprint. In Argentina, he got 4th in the sprint.
Oh, Argentina?
Yeah. Over this weekend, I think he had mechanical. I don't think he crashed out. I think he might have had a mechanical, I think.
So, I mean, he is showing promise, but he just doesn't have the bike. And neither does Yamaha. Neither does Aprilia.
I disagree with all that, Shakes. They're in the top 10. They're making it to Q2. And that's a huge compared to last year.
Yes, I'll give you that. That's the only thing I'll give you.
So mine's also they don't have like a straightaway like most other tracks. I think Honda will have an advantage, if anything, or Yamaha over, well, at least get closer to like Ducati. Um, just not having the full power to hit the straight and stretch out. It's more uh, like Zarco. I think, like Levi said, he could be in front running. He's been proving himself for the past couple rounds, and I'm just hoping something will break up this Ducati stretch. You know, somebody needs to poke elbows in there, like Curly or somebody. Just gonna
All right, I got
like
stats.
Let's hear it.
Last
I
year,
want to hear.
Zarco had 3 podiums all year. Or sorry, top 10s. 3 top 10s.
Top
My
10,
bad.
yeah.
This guy's already got 4, or sorry, 5 in the first 4 rounds this year.
Yeah.
There's something brewing.
I agree. I see that too as well.
This is the
I've been trying to
closest
tell these guys.
This is the closest he's been to being on the podium since he was on that Ducati.
Yeah. And he's the first Honda to make it to Q2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I said the only thing he didn't do well was in the U.S. where he got 17th. That was the only time he didn't do well. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else has been close to being on a podium, or if not, top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, speaking of last week, you know, I don't know if you guys saw the press conference with Marc Marquez, the opening press conference, not post race, where he openly admitted that, you know, his action caused 3 guys the podium, the 3 guys that had slicks where everybody else had reins. You know, is that you know, throwing mud in your eye when as if you're one of those 3 riders hearing you know the person that started the clearance of the stage, I mean of the grid. If you're one of those 3 riders, are you giving Mark the finger? Because it's like, you knew what you were doing and you cost us the championship, you cost our team some money for the weekend and all that stuff. Because 3 guys definitely missed out on the podium in Coda. What do you think, Eli, with rules like that and, you know, manipulating the rules and, you know, you guess right. You're one of those riders on the grid that guess right and they red flag it because somebody else does, or enough people does something and now you're all on the same playing field. Not that you care if you're on reins or wet, right? But,
I mean, it's hard, you know. Marquez makes the rules. You see it. Daddy makes the rules. You know, I love I love Mark. I respect the crap out of him, and there's a reason why they listen to him. But there ain't no time for riders union with 1:30 left on the grid. So, you know, we can't all huddle up and make a team decision. We can make a one-man decision that's going to affect everyone else. And you know what? If Mark was the only one that ran off, it's literally the blind leading the blind.
Yeah,
if Mark was the only one to decide to run off, they would have actually ran the race, I bet.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you got, you know, all these top names running off the grid, and then you got who was left on the grid?
The guys with slicks.
Who were they?
It was only like 3 or 4. It was only like 3 or 4. That was it.
So it was, I think it was Ayaguro.
Ayaguro,
had slicks. There was a KTM rider, I think so, Brad Bender, and it might have been Luca Marini on the Honda had slicks as well.
I love those guys, but no names. No one cares about them. They're not going to do jack shit. So, you know, when these top guys, top 10 in the points, because none of them are in them, top 10 in the points all run off the grid, bang, you know, you're going to have to it's that same thing that you guys were saying earlier. Like Jordan was saying it. You know, Marquez is studying the rule book. Marquez is studying. These guys have to study what Marquez does. If you want to beat Marquez or be Marquez, you do what Marquez does. There's a reason why he's running off that track. Your ass might as well be running off that track as well.
Yeah. Well, as black people like to say, we see one running, we all running.
We all running.
I ain't asking questions. I ain't asking.
Oh man! Anyone else want to touch on, you know, last week Marquez's comment and the actions?
I didn't hear the comment, and I never saw anybody running off the track with this whole conspiracy with rain tires. All I saw was the race started. That's all I saw. What I don't know why we're even going back in the past. I don't know why we're not talking about KTM cheating this week. But
Right. Oh, you
it's
missed
your
that.
show,
Oh,
Fortyfive.
wait a
I
second.
understand
So
it.
what?
I understand
Wait,
it's your
so
show, so
I can see how you know. I feel like you're pretty religious with like you get the race, you turn on your live right as the race is about to start, right?
yes.
Then why the hell did it start 25 minutes later than normal?
Well, I got to my screen 25 minutes late.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I just want to make sure
He
there's an emergency.
He mistakenly was on the same email that that Mark was on. He was like, "Hey, 25 minutes when we're a minute and a half, run."
Okay, so
He
the
was on that
script did get
email.
leaked. So the script got leaked. Okay, I just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
Yeah.
You know, every good movie has a good script. You never know.
I think the script got leaked from Marquez staying out with Pecco and those guys in Mazzano last year when it started raining a little bit, and after that I think everybody started doing what Marquez did because he's like, I'm following the local guys.
Wow.
Yeah, there ain't no local guys racing MotoGP for America.
No, you got that right.
There ain't
Not
no
yet.
local tricks there. Oh,
No.
yeah, it's going to be
Working
another
on it.
10 years.
Working on it.
Yeah.
Come
Another
on,
10
Kenny
years.
Roberts Sr. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, let's switch over to before we get out of here, let's talk about World Superbike a little bit. You know, on one hand, Ducati reigns supreme. On the other hand, we got Nikolai Bulaga. His Ducati shut down twice on Sunday. It's always from everyone here except for Shakes has raced at some level. I didn't start having mechanicals until like maybe 2021. So I had a good 6-7 years where bikes always knock on wood, never had any issues. But I did have a race where I was leading my class and I had issues. And it's no fun when you're out of a race and it's because of mechanical. What are you guys' thoughts on that for Nikolai, who seems to be the only challenger right now for Top Rock?
Yeah, mechanicals are the worst. I've only had a few in my whole entire career, and of course, one had to be on national TV. And yeah, I went flying into the gravel trap at Barber.
Wow.
So fun times. But yeah, no, it's. I mean, we missed out on a big part with Locatelli getting a win on Sunday.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing. Everyone's going to be talking about the Bulaga thing. Yeah, his bike shutting off. He's having problems. Like, you know, as my dad always has a quote, you know, races are won in the garage, whether it's at the highest level in the world or not. You know, sure, it sucks that at this point it's all electrical.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know, we had a little fucking piece of dirt get into the connector and the whole entire bike's not running right now. That does suck. So it comes down to having a goddamn IT guy sitting in your pit next to your bike the whole entire day. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know, luckily for Bulaga, Top Rack was having an off weekend, and you know, Unone turned into a flying saucer. And
Right.
yeah, it was just a interesting weekend. I didn't get to watch as much, but I'm really interested in more of the super sport side of the things for World Superbike. Watching the new R9 develop, and it's some good racing.
All right, we'll tap you back in when we talk about the Super Sport because it's very impressive, and I believe you have one or are getting the R9, so you must be looking. You must be excited to see what's happening in Motor America as well and World Superbike.
I'll get it 1 year.
Wow.
Nice. Bobby Shakes, what are your thoughts on mechanicals, Ducati? Yeah, I don't see your room in red today, so you must be in mourning.
I mean, mechanicals are tough, but didn't I say this like 2 weeks ago that it's every part of racing? It's just not the rider. It's the bike. It's the tire guy. It's the person that's doing the diet. It's the physio. It's a team, right? It's one guy on the grid, but there's a whole team of people that's behind them that's going to make this happen. So this is just not everything's a team. And for that to happen, that just goes show there's a breakdown in the team. And there can't be a breakdown in the team when you have Top Rack running around like a maniac on that BMW. Like, people have to be locked in because everybody's saying that Top Rack should be in MotoGP. I don't see BMW able to make a prototype. I don't see that happening. But if that's what we want to say, we could say it. But yeah, when you're going up against Top Rack, I think everybody has to be locked in because like everybody said, we're just seconds apart from each other, right? Unless you're on a Yamaha or Honda. Man.
Bobby Shakes. It's the ultimate driving machine, man. Don't forget that.
It's a helicopter.
Yes, I know. I know they used to make helicopters.
So they just spin around.
Planes, but you know.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, TJ.
I mean, on the World Superbike side, it's like Top Rack's like Marquez. I don't want to say make the rules, but they kind of listen to like what he does. And last year, like he was pretty much going to win the whole season. Besides the injury that he had, he was just so dominant. So Nikola Bugla can't afford, like, for him being ahead right now, can't afford any mistakes. So I feel his pain, but Ducati hasn't really had too many mechanicals this year. So if at any weekend that he should be okay with, it would be this one. I mean, Bautista was up there with his Ducati, but he ended up crashing race one. Um, Top Rack didn't have a really good weekend. I mean, even race one, Petrucci stuffed up Top Rack to take over the third place. Um, so yeah, it was pretty dramatic, and it's probably devastating to have a bike that you can't ride when that's what you're out there to do. But I think he should have nothing to worry about.
Okay, all right. I don't know if Top Rock ran away with it last year. Bulliger gave him a fight up until I think the last couple of rounds. But I mean, some people are saying Marquez already won this year, so Jordan.
No, I'm saying if he wasn't hurt.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough.
Not to say that the championship is wrapped up or it's too early in the season, but Bulliger still has the points lead. Top Rack is not that far off with less than 20 points behind him. Locatelli, I mean, he hasn't been in the running or the lead forever and a day. So him to be in third in points right about now is definitely a good sign. And Alvaro, I don't know what happened with him in the past couple of weeks, but he's starting to slip down the points. Now he's in fourth place right now. Which he has never been in fourth place, even when he started, was it 2-3 years ago in the middle of the season. Right. He quickly started racking up wins and started becoming a champion contender. Now, I mean, we're in round 5 or 6, round 4 right now, and he's fourth in the points. Right. I don't know what's going on. I know the team of his just did not a sneak peek video, but I did a video on his clutch placement and how much it takes to put together a V4 clutch. And they've got all types of special equipment and stuff like that on there. So, I mean, like Eli says, like a simple little thing. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago when I was with Motor America team, and Scheibe Racing was right next to us when Josh was racing with them. And they had a droplet of water in the electrical system that threw the whole bike off. The whole bike. Yeah. He was able to start it, be able to run it for a couple seconds, and the next thing you know, it cut off on him again. And it happened like over and over and over again. And then literally at the grid, he's trying to get this bike started or keep it started, and it wouldn't even do it. So any gremlin can happen at any point in time. And like Bobby said, it takes a big group of people to make one bike run effectively, smoothly, and make it to the end of the race. And if one person doesn't meticulously do their job, which 5 people are sometimes on both sides of the bike, 10 people are together, then you got the electronics guys in the back, on their computers and stuff. I mean, it's a gambit of people to make all these things happen. And then a rider has to be in tune with what all they do, be able to make all that stuff happen and be able to get it to the end of the line. So I think World Superbike title is far from being over.
Mm-hmm.
With these points right about now, it's almost going to be hard to say who's going to jump ahead, what's going to happen week after week. Like Eli said, the super sport thing with the R9, that's really kind of the R9 is blowing up all over the world, period.
Yeah.
And like you said before, last week, Rex, that sorry, my computer froze on me. That you said last week, Rex, that it's not even developed yet. It's not even developed. So imagine what's going to happen in the next 3 or 4 years once they start, throwing little parts in there, get some stuff released, change the maps a little bit here and there. I mean, it's going to be a beast, and I can't wait for the rest of this season to start pushing out what's going to be happening next season for the Super Sport Series. But the Superbike Series is still good to watch. I can't wait for Sam Lowe's to get his stuff together because they found some clicks. And they're pushing up front. So hopefully they can get some stuff done. And then I don't want to leave out my good friend Garrett Gerloff. He's got some points. He's got some points right about now. He's
Right.
17.
Yeah, he's got 14 points.
Yes, he got 14 points. He's a teenager.
I mean, he's only like, if you really think about it, he's only like 112 points out of the lead. There's a comeback on it.
It's the fourth round. It's the fourth round. Things will happen. He's done worse with the BMW, and he's done worse with the Yamaha. So let's come on, GG. Let's go.
Right.
But
Let me ask this about Alvaro. We saw last year he struggled. We said it was because he added the 20 pounds. They added the 20 pounds on the bike. Thanks to Scott Redden. I'm a fan of Scott Redden, but I felt like he said something and then they just gave him 20 pounds. And he struggled last year. With that bike. Is it still the weight this year? It seems like he's riding a little bit, I don't want to say aggressive, but he's crashing. He's making a lot of mistakes. Like for the first 3 rounds so far, Alvaro has made a lot of mistakes. Is he trying to prove too much? Is he just you guys? And I'll start with you, Eli. I know you got something to say, Jordan, but I'll start with you because you're a Moto America rider.
When you need a goddamn step stool to get on your own bike, you're bound to have problems. Guy, I really think it's just mental at this point. There's no excuse. 20 pounds is 20 pounds. It's a difference of, take away the 20 pounds, right? You start off, you have a full tank for a race. You have 20 extra pounds just with a full tank of fuel. So you're telling me that when he at the start of the race to the end of the race, he's gonna not be able to ride the first 10 laps because he's got that extra 10 pounds on him.
He doesn't like big girls.
Obviously. I mean, shit, if he wanted to keep the no girl hire rule than you, he's gotta have to find like a 4'6" midget that's I don't even know. But I think at this point it's really I don't think it's the weight. I think it's just I don't know. I don't
want to say this, I don't want to Joe Biden him by saying this his age, but he's also older.
Really I did want to say that.
Is he just it's harder to wake up every day and still feel motivated. So
I don't know, but Petrucci's close to the same age.
Yeah.
Danilo's an old ass man, and he's still whooping up on him, and he's on a Barney racing bike.
Okay. Bobby Shakes. I see you shaking your head over there. What's happening? What are your thoughts?
Her Britannic Majesty, Secretary of State, requests and requires, in the name of Her Majesty, all those whom carry this passport, be held with no hindrance. Take off the 20 pounds, guys. Come on. We all know that weight is a big part of racing. That's why we cut weight. That's why we use different materials to bring the weight down. When you add 20 pounds, a lot. I wish I had my my CAD opened up so I could punch in how much weight is equal to how many seconds gained. Next week I'll have CAD, my engineering program, running here.
It's 7 pounds to 1 horsepower.
There it is. There it is. So what's so 20?
7 pounds, 1 horsepower.
140.
It's close to it's 3. It's like 2.8.
It's a little over 3
2.8625.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's
yeah, but
don't
also
figure that out.
but 20 pounds is making him equal to the average of probably all the other riders in that paddock. You can't tell me that he's weighing. I mean, you know what? Before I say this, I'll look it up real quick.
Thank you, Eli.
I'll let you guys jump in and until Eli comes back. What are your thoughts on that? Is Alvaro, should he? Is it just a moment in time and he'll figure it out?
I think it's kind of I've had people on the back of my bike, 2-up rides, et cetera. The bike is completely different. You add on 20 pounds. Even with a half tank, the bike is completely different. So, I mean, you add on 20 pounds from beginning to the race to the end of the race. I mean, no, that is a handicap and a half that, like I said, I don't know who did it. But yeah, that's some straight bull. That's some straight bull.
Thank you, Jordan.
TJ, I'll let you jump in since Jordan dropped the mic and his camera went off.
No, I mean, I think the 20 pounds is a little excessive, but you can always manage. But you know, it's like you still got to ride. I think what you were saying, Rexy, is maybe his age is catching up to him a little bit. I mean, I don't want to speak too soon. I mean, I think the weight of the bike's probably making him older too. How much you gotta put in work to stay up front, but he's still learning, I guess, certain things. Just the last races just happened. The way he, I forgot who he took out. Sam Lowe's, right? Who did he took out the first race? I forgot
was it Petrucci this time he took out or Sam Lowe's?
No, I forgot who it was the first race, but that move was a little unusual of him. Like usually he's good with leaning with grip that way. Never seen him
Sam
like
Lowe's, I believe.
undercut
Sam
and
Lowe's.
take out the bike.
Yeah.
So it's a little unusual. You could tell he's still trying to figure some things out. Maybe it's just still early in the season. I mean, World Superbike has like a round every like month and a half, it seems like, until the end of the year. But yeah, no, I think the weight is definitely causing a little trouble for him since we saw him in the past, but he can still manage it. He's still running up front.
Right.
Still getting on the podium. So, like, you know, it's the Pedrosa effect.
I'm back.
All right. Let's hear it.
Okay. Bautista is 132 pounds. Top Rack is 160. Petrucci is 170. Nicola Bulica is 160 pounds as well. The new so what they did is the same as Moto America. You have to have an average minimum rider bike weight combination. So everyone has to be that minimum weight, no matter what. So whether you're coming in as a meatball at 235 pounds or coming in as a midget man like Alvaro Bautista, you're going to have to be that minimum weight. So, and you know what? And we're saying, you know what? It might be affecting him. You're one of the best riders in the world. You had a MotoGP seat for a reason. Adapt to it. You've made this far.
Let me ask you this, right? Because I can't imagine. I finally hit 160 for the first time in my life. I've been 145, 146 forever. And I'm moving around with 20 more pounds right now, and I don't like it at all. And but let me say this: at least with my body, 20 pounds is disproportionate, throughout my whole body. How do you put 20 pounds on a bike and make it, like not too top heavy, bottom heavy? Like, where is it? A little bit in the rims, a little bit in the frame. You know what I mean? I can't imagine they can just put it all throughout the bike. I'm pretty sure it's probably sitting in one place on the bike.
So what a lot of people do is, if you see a lot of people with like a brand new bike like the R9 that was in development, you'll see them on a machine where you have the rear tire on a plate and a front tire looking like they're in a wheelie, and they have a rider on it and a tuck. So right there, they're trying to measure where the center of gravity is, and they can, from those measurements, can pinpoint the exact point. So now you can get it's like what they do for Junior Cup. A lot of the kids have to add weight. So now they get little they have, I mean, they CNC parts for the bikes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you CNC weight. You create a place for in a spot on a frame, and you equal it out both sides. It's for a random Joe like us. That's rocket scientist, rocket science. For these guys are the best in the world. These teams are some of the most well-known, well-greased teams in the world. They should be able to figure it out and not have any problems. And there's no excuse. If you're a rider, you have to learn. You have to adapt. That's what racing is for, and that's why we love racing. We're thrown into difficult situations, and as a racer, you have to adapt. And if you don't, then it's sink or swim.
All right, Bobby. I know you got a lot to say.
Eli's tough. And yeah, I can't fight him on that. Where's my tape?
Oh, the tape's coming out.
Occasionally, if only everyone that had nothing to say, the right thing to say would just do what Bobby Shakes is doing, the world would be a better place.
But yeah, no, that is pretty cool though, pretty interesting. I didn't know all that about Moto America, but equal playing field is what you want. It is unfortunate that he's such a skilled rider, but very short and not heavy. It's just very light. It's like the Pedrosa effect, but you know, as Eli said, yeah, he was on a MotoGP. He went down to a World Superbike. You won a couple championships, and now we added weight to your bike. You're struggling a little bit, which is expected, but you gotta, outgrow that. I mean, yeah, you're getting older, but I don't know if there's excuses coming out or anything like that. But I think he should be able to adapt. He started to do well towards the last end of the last season. So. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if they
agree.
added more weight to his bike. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I agree. He is getting better, but he doesn't seem like he's the same rider he was that won the two championships and was on Ducati before he went to Honda. He's riding. And no disrespect to these other riders, but he's riding, similar to a Sam Lowe's and these guys. He should be fighting up front with Top Rock and Bulaga, is what we expected. Is what we expected last year. And now it's kind of like, I don't want to, I guess I would say he's riding closer to how Danny Pedrosa rode the end of his career as well. A light guy, couldn't keep heating the tires, colder tracks affected him, kind of thing. And I don't know if they added weight to the GP bikes for Pedrosa, but in this case, I don't think he's Alvarez worrying about heating the tires with that extra 20 pounds. But what do you think about Andre Annoni? He looks like he's struggling. It seems like he's showing flashes of when he was in MotoGP, and now he's starting to fall down the grid position.
I'd like to ask Eli a question about that question.
Yes, sir.
Why is he falling down a grid position when he was on such a high level? Is it I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't have the love for the sport. Like, why is Leone? Why is that drop off? Like, what causes that drop off? Like,
that's the thing about racing. There's so many different variables. It could be whether it's a setup problem or whether it's a rider problem. A lot of these things are just mental. I think, mental strength is huge. I mean, obviously, you don't need to be at this for so long, so you never know. Unless you're the person or close to the person, it's hard to tell. Mistakes are going to happen, but he was pretty damn strong last year, or coming on pretty strong by the end of the year. But I mean, in 2 years, I don't know if do you guys know if World Superbike's following suit with what we're doing in America, getting rid of Superbikes?
I don't know. I know they were testing. I know BSB last year they were testing slowing down the super bikes, so that way they're not going to be faster than GP bikes for 27. So if there's not going to be any super bikes in Motor America, we'll see. Anything.
That's why I'm curious. It's they're getting rid of in 27. There will be no super bikes. It will only be. They will be taking the super sport class, the next gen class.
Is this like public information?
Yep.
Wow.
No, but yeah.
Now it is. Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't really care. I'm not racing Motor America anymore.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Superbike is gone. This is all from what I've heard over the last year or so. It's going to be next gen super sports, and they are unrestricting the bikes, and it's allowing for an open bike setup and open rules where you're building them like super bikes. So that will be happening after next season.
Wow.
Can I ask another question about 45's question? Is there a psychiatrist in racing that you go and speak to? Because like when I used to play lacrosse, we had like a sports psychologist that we would go to. Like they would watch us and be like, hey, how come you're not catching the ball, you're not throwing it, your release is high, your shots are all over the place? Do they have a psychiatrist for him to go to say, hey, listen, man, at one point you were the top cheese. What's going on now? Is there something? Do the teams have a sports psychologist to talk to?
I don't know if teams do, but I know there are like mental coaches. I've used them. I know a lot of people that do use them. A lot of people, whether it's sport focused or life focused, it's just a lot of people, they do have that outlet where they do go to and they can figure out what's going on. And I mean, going through mental struggles, it's you're stuck in a rut. And some things can go through. Sometimes it's just talking to someone, clearing them out like a psychiatrist, or it's going to take a while, but it's hard. You never know what these, I hate like making wild guesses, but it's like, you don't know what a rider's personally going through. And the only way you find out is if they come out and talk about it, and half of them don't talk about it because they don't know what the hell is going on.
Like the 45's question, I don't know. Maybe I would, if I was, I mean, that's premiership, right? That's like the top 1%. If I was to come down here and now, no disrespect to anybody else, maybe at this point, I just know that my career is over. Like I'm never going to be at the MotoGP level. So why not just ride the bike, A to B, limit injuries, collect a paycheck, and go forward? I mean, that could be it too. 45, right? What do you think?
I think that for competitors, that's very hard because if you've struggled, and I struggled for years at Loudon trying to get quick and stuff like that. And for me, I didn't walk away and not fix the problem. And so for me, like it's hard to like if there's still points on, if there's still time on the clock, I believe there's a chance. I always believe there's a chance. So I think for a competitor, it's hard to hang the gloves up or the cleats up, or our case, get off the bike. So and I always hear people say, they didn't like seeing Jordan play when he was older, or some of these guys ride when they're older and stuff like that. I think if you're on the bike, you might be appreciating the moment still and enjoying yourself still, even though you're not the same level. But as a fan, those are the last memories you have of that person versus when they were in their prime. And I think from a fan perspective, some fans may feel like they got gypped a little bit because they had to deal with them in the decline and watching them play and struggle. Like, remember Larry Bird with his back issues and coming out and playing and stuff like that. Those things were tough to watch. So so it's hard because like I said, I got this never give up mentality, but I'm not racing at that level. So it's kind of, if they're paying him and he's having fun, then it may be a no-brainer. But who knows? I'll let you guys jump in as well.
Petrucci.
Bonuses.
Petrucci. Remember, Petrucci was retiring, and he actually came to Motor America to do some, just to keep racing, to keep active. And next thing you know, the championship bit him, and it's kind of, well, I may be able to win this thing. And next thing you know, he gets another ride back over to World Superbike. So I mean, yeah, you think that when you're done, you're done. But like Rex said, it's like, when you're competitive for that long or that high of a level, it's kind of hard to give it up.
Hey, just because you throw the cig in the trash can, don't mean it's not going to light again.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Hey, listen, look at Josh Hayes at 50.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, that he's never fallen off. That's the thing.
No, he hasn't.
Josh has never had a decline season where it's like, oh, this poor old man. Nah, it's none of that.
Right.
It's literally Hayes is a animal.
Yeah.
Anytime he hops on a bike.
I was gonna say, do you think it's more of like last year you only had a season of a return, so like he had more, I don't want to say more at stake, but higher expectations. So I don't know if he had the same drive going into this year, but a racer's a racer, so he still will be competitive at the end of the day. But it's just probably not the results we're looking for. I'm not sure. But I know he had some time off. I don't know how much that will affect you at the professional level trying to come back. But I think he will still have a good season though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he got out of MotoGP, so it affected him to where he was in he could only go back to World Superbike, go to World Superbike.
I guess.
And he's also financing a portion of that team as well. So it could be, if you have a team and like Shake said and Eli co-signed, if you got a team and it's not running right, even the best, could be distracted on the track, for if you're having a bad weekend. And it's sometimes it's hard to shut off. Did I put the right tire pressure? No, did you forget to check something on the bike or your suit or something? And sometimes it's hard to shut that off, to say I'm fine, because it just kind of creeps up in the back of your mind, like, what if this thing happened? And so it's very hard, I think, when you're that invested, and you're putting your money up as well to race, because every result is important at that point. Not to say it's not when someone else is putting their money up, but
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's the thing that's going to be so exciting when they do make that change in 27. You're bringing you're changing the age limit. You're bringing in a whole new field of young riders, because now instead of the hop from World Super Sport 300 to Super Sport to Superbike, now you're practically jumping from World Super Sport 300 straight to Superbike now.
right.
So that change is going to change everything, and it's going to make things so more expensive and so stupid.
So difficult.
Point of view.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's all I got, guys. If there's something you want to talk about that I didn't bring up or we didn't bring up, now's the time. I guess I'll start with Bobby Shakes because I'm pretty sure you might have to go home to England at some point.
They found life on a planet 124 light years away from the Earth.
Careful what you ask for.
So I went and I looked through the telescope to see what they were talking about.
Uh-huh.
And what I saw was Yamaha, Honda, and Aprilia. And then I looked again, and it was Zarco. He's 300 light years away from us.
He's on another planet.
Eli, this is what you get into when you're on this podcast. This is what you get.
It's okay. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm fine with the battle. That's all I'm here for. As I said before,
I see how Shakes is trying to sneak in that Yamaha is lightweight, light years away from us. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, when you got the Yamaha riding crew ain't the brightest anymore either. So Quartararo is a decent rider, but handed the championship just like Mir.
Ooh, okay. Okay. You said it.
I thought a champion is a champion.
You can't tell me Mir's championship wasn't handed to him on a silver platter.
Oh, with a shortened season.
One race.
It was a shortened season.
It was a shortened season.
Didn't win a race. I call that history. No one's ever won like that.
Well, he won one race. He won Valencia that year. Yeah. He won the last round.
I could see how that is. I wasn't fans of either. I wasn't fans of either one of them winning. I was looking out for other riders, but they had it. Marquez was hurt, and Pecco wasn't ready yet, and it is. He showed up at the right time.
Exactly.
Say
that's what racing is. It's being at the right time in the right place, and a championship's a championship. No matter what, you're getting the money.
Right.
You get the money, you get the reputation.
Right.
But it's the fact when you come back and, years down the road, when you're looking at Marquez out here winning every single race and it's going to be the Ducati, then you look and say, aren't those like world champions back in 12th and 13th place battling for first person DQ out of this race? It's I don't know. It's hard to have that. That's why MotoGP is so tough.
Right.
It doesn't mean the rider's bad. Your bike just is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I got one thing to add to either Jordan or Eli. What do you think about Yamaha and the V4 that they're testing right now?
They're running.
Honda already runs a V4.
No,
they're already running.
Yamaha says that they're testing. They're testing the V4 right now, and eventually they're going to try and implement it. What do you guys think about that?
They needed that. They needed the change because the inline 4 is pretty much topped off. Mm-hmm. Everyone kind of knows that. It's just it is what it is. You can't really squeeze that much out of it anymore unless you put a turbo on it, and unless you do something with the Kawasaki, then it ain't going to happen. BMW, they don't have the money, they don't have the funding for it, so that's not going to happen. Kawasaki and Suzuki, they did their run. Do they try to go back to the world stage again and really not really get what they wanted to get from running mid pack to late pack and having to redevelop the whole bike all over again? No, they're not trying to do that. So like I said, that was the only pretty option they had to do was run the V4.
I really do think when it goes back to the 800s, it creates more of an opportunity for more manufacturers as well.
Yeah, it's like the DEI of racing.
I think Yamaha should have went to the V5.
All right.
Crickets, I know, right? Crickets, I know.
It's cricket. What?
Okay, let me guess. I think we should go back to the L twin.
Well, the only person who did the L twin was the Ducati, and Honda did the L twin, but it never went to the world stage. Well, actually, it didn't go to the GP stage. It didn't go to the world stage, but it didn't go to the GP stage.
Yes. The only people that could make a twin Jordan on this planet is Harley and Ducati. That's it. Not even.
Well, tell that to the RC51 because they won an AMA championship on that, and they won a World Superbike championship on that twice.
Oh, I don't watch Russell. I don't watch.
Was that
things
Colin
where people
Edwards?
got that much
Colin
fat.
Edwards, yep, Colin Edwards.
When you put
Yep.
Harley and Ducati in the same group, it's usually not a good group to be in. Is that the group of leaking oil out of the clutch?
Oh man, I don't know what you're talking about.
Them
Back
dry
to the
clutches
shop it
ain't so
goes.
dry. Them dry clutches ain't so dry.
Need a little
It
bit of
goes dry
something.
on not on purpose. It just goes dry on accident, but they
Yeah,
call it on being on purpose.
It's just-
Yeah,
Come on,
the clutch
Eli,
is dry,
stop
and
being
so is the
cheeky.
motor.
Don't be cheeky, Eli. Don't be cheeky.
I want to thank everyone for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. It's the B4evaKool Podcast. My name is Rex45. Peace.
Peace.